Good to see everybody. Exciting. Win the other night against Michigan. A win that actually, after I've watched the film, I've become a little more excited about. I thought we played really, really, really hard. And yet I thought emotionally we were a little bit flat and a little bit off. But I liked the effort piece to our game. And then I thought we were good enough offensively. Just shy of a 1.2 OER. Again, not every night's going to be perfect. Not every night's going to be pretty. And that one sure wasn't. Now we get the number one offense in college basketball with Purdue coming in. They're a team that's somewhat sophisticated in terms of all the actions they run, in terms of the movement. They're not a little different than some teams in the fact that they're not a huge ball screen team, so they run a lot of actions to get guys shots in areas. And they've obviously, everything starts with them, in my opinion, with Trevion Williams, a guy that's an elite passer. He's a guy that's averaging 17 a game on the road. He's a high field goal percentage guy. He's a tenacious rebounder, and doing all of it in about 20 minutes of play. And then comes in Edie, and we obviously know about his size and his development. And, so it's a two-headed monster at the in the middle. And then you put very good shooting around it. Sasha's been here forever, an elite shooter, and then maybe the top NBA prospect in our league, kind of a Westbrook type guy in the open court. So a very, very good, a very, very talented Purdue team, and a team that's old. And I said here, and I haven't even talked about Gillis, who's shooting 50% from the three, and some of their bench guys. So a talented team, and a team will have to play awfully well, and excited for that challenge and opportunity.
Payne kind of set himself apart from the rest of the conference in terms of developing big man, present company excluded, of course?
No, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I think the one thing that he's made it a priority in recruiting, I don't think you saw Zach on a whole bunch of recruiting, with a whole bunch of stars by his name, a young man who was a hockey player. And I think they did a great job of evaluating in that process. I think they've done that throughout their Matt's time there. And then to take it another step level, they've done a great job developing. So yeah, I don't think there's any question about their job of playing around bigs and having very good ones.
And he never plays a Twin Towers set. You talked about maybe doing that with Kofi and Omar. Did it like once maybe? Why is that so difficult to get incorporated?
Space. If you can't stretch the floor, one guy that can't stretch it clogs the paint for another one and makes for easy double teams, easy. It just clogs the paint up, and the game is it's much easier to defend it than it is to have guys play in space.
Coach, what are some of the challenges of slowing down their big three, Edie, Williams, and Ivy?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to stop them. They're 90 points a game, and they're high octane, and you can't give them multiple opportunities on the glass. You can't give them easy baskets in transition. You've got to make them work for every touch. And the reality is just try to make them as uncomfortable as you can make them, but you're not going to stop them, completely shut them off. And yet, you've got to make them play at the other end as well. So sometimes your best defense can be really good offense, and we've got to do that tomorrow.
Obviously, Kofi can't play the entire games. Is there a challenge there with those matchups, the way they flip flop their big men?
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. I don't think there's they're playing each of them about 20 minutes, and there's no doubt Omar, Ben, Lieb, it's all hands on deck. So we'll throw them out there and compete and play hard. And again, there's a lot more to those two, and we got to make sure that we're solid all the way around.
Thank you.
Brad, I know every game's a evaluation of your team, but when you have a team like Arizona or Purdue come to your house, is there anything different about learning about your team in those kind of matchups?
Sure, they're the best. I mean, going in, they're really good, and it's like just like Arizona last night and Tubulus, 14-24, Coloco 7 of 7. You follow them because they're good, and you follow those teams, you pay attention, you want to compare yourself, and you want to challenge, and that's what Illinois basketball is, or I hope it is. You guys better be looking at it that way, because we do. We want to, it's why we try to play the schedule we do, so we can find out where we're at all the time.
Well, I asked the question because I'm feeling that way too. Defensively, Brad, feels like the numbers are slowly increasing. You're number one right now, according to Ken's numbers, in defense in the conference. What kind of is this the challenge that you want to see your team have defensively, especially given their guards and their bigs?
They're number one in the country in OER, or they're number two. Them or Gonzaga. I mean, it's hard to imagine Gonzaga, scoring 115 in our league every night, but they're good. They've done it against a lot of really good people, and we're growing. We're getting better. We're on the incline. I like that. So now you get a challenge, and that we'll really put it to the test, and we're going to find out where we got to continue to grow and how we got to continue to get better as we head down the homeward stretch of the season.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, a year ago today, you guys lost at home to Ohio State, and since then you've gone 20-1 against Big Ten teams. What is behind that stretch, and what's it like for you to be a part of this and see this all kind of happen?
Good players, really good coaches, who I think do a good job of preparing. I hope it speaks to our culture, that there's a level of consistency. I think that we all go through peaks and valleys in great conferences, and it's I think the thing that would excite me about that is consistency, knowing that we've been able to try to do that a lot more nights than we have it, and I think that you try to control the emotional piece, you can try to control the effort. We know the physical things we can't always control, the ball going in, but that's what we strive for. Is I say it all the time. Is our culture is going to win us games, and I hope that's the case.
With the consistency, I mean, you guys have just personnel wise, there's been a little bit of inconsistency, be it players leaving or the coaching change. How have you cultivated enough of it to keep this run going through this season?
Trent, DeMonte, Kofi, veterans, Andres Feliz passes it on, Iodos passes it on. Your players set a standard. You support your players in that culture, and that carries over. I hope that our freshmen, our young guys are all paying attention, because someday it becomes their culture to be in charge of. I said it our first few years, if I have to lead all the time, we're never going to be very good. And it's a player led. They do a great job. Our new staff, those guys have jumped right in. They've made great relationships with guys. And then they know, I hope, what our standard is, and what my standard is. And we strive for that daily.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, I know kind of with Edie and a 7'4" frame and then Williams and his kind of defensive impact, how much is that? How do you kind of go in attacking them and how does that kind of affect what you guys can do offensively?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to tell you how we're going to attack them. I think we got a pretty good player that we can get the ball to, and we'll see how they react to him and what their choice of coverage is. They've doubled less this year than maybe they have in the past. They do a great job of ball screen coverage, mixing them up. And again, that forces our guards to have to make reads and tags. And then to beat this team, you've always got to make shots. And it's, they're good. They're a well-rounded basketball team.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned, Purdue not double teaming as much. And obviously when you have someone who's 7'4" in the paint, you don't really need to do that too often. But how much of a challenge is tomorrow going to be for Kofi to have success against those two players in the paint?
No different than, that's the one thing in this league. And I think over the course of 3 years or 2.5 now, Kofi has seen just about everything. And, it's not the first time he's gone up against him. It's not the first time he's seen a big guy, and I get it. Zach's very, very big. But again, it's Kofi is and does some things that are very unusual. And, they got to guard him too. And they're very good players. And Kofi's a very good player, and it makes it fun. It's, kind of old school basketball, watching a lot of big guys go slap bodies together.
And then in the last couple of games, we've seen a lot of teams maybe opt to single cover Kofi more than double, which we saw a lot earlier in the season. What do you think's gone into that decision for your opponents to spend more time just one-on-one with Kofi in the paint?
Plummer, Trent, Jake, DeMonte, Coleman, three-point shooting, Luke Goody. I think being able to space the floor and pick your poison. Do you want to give up a 3 or do you want to give up a 2? And, those guys have been shooting it at a very high clip, and they're elite shooters. And I think that's been if we didn't have those guys, Kofi'd be getting doubled and tripled and quadrupled. So I think those guys deserve a lot of that credit.
Thanks, Coach.
Brad, any extra trick or challenge for the early Monday morning game, or is not big of a deal?
Go to bed early. Go to bed early. We practice in the mornings. Most all first semester, obviously it's been a little different here at the break. So it's not like we're not used to getting up at 6. Get up early, get the body moving, and eat a good breakfast, hydrate, and let's throw it up.
You indicated last time that Andre Curbelo was about ready to start practicing again. Has he been able to do that? Any other status update?
He's gaining ground on it.
Okay, thank you.
Brad, I saw an interview where Painter kind of said yesterday that he was a lot happier with his defense than maybe a week and a half ago. And for somebody that's doing film preparation, are you seeing a different Purdue team defensively than maybe before Christmas break?
Well, considering they had Nebraska down 23-4, I'm sure he's really happy with the way they guarded. No, it's Christmas break. You guys, the importance of Christmas break is the opportunity to really work on things that you as a coach aren't pleased with. And, Matt's done this a long time and seen a lot of success, and his teams are known for that. So they've been great. They were phenomenal against Nebraska on that end, and made a team that I think is very, very talented offensively, made him look not so good.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Brad, if I could get one more just about this run you guys have been on. Are there parallels to that run you had at Stephen F. Austin in conference play there?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Gosh, that was a long time ago. I think that the one thing that we've always tried to do is just take every game for what it is. We've never overcomplicated things. It's been one day at a time. It's just been get better. And that's been the singular focus. I don't think we ever have tried to make one game any bigger than the other. We all know that there are certain games, when we played Sam Houston or, somebody that was our rival, you get a little bit of extra juice in those, but for the most part, every game is truly a 40-minute game. And we've got 20 of them in this league that are all darn hard. So, it's trying to find an even keel, but yet it's being demanding every day and pushing every day to be better than we were yesterday. And that's really the way we do it. And, that's probably the similarities that I can speak of.
Thanks, Brad.
And apart from using the holiday to schedule an early game, is there going to be any commemoration of MLK Day?
Yes, there'll be I'll have a very nice pair of sneakers on that will be in remembrance of Martin Luther King. They'll come out later.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See you bright and early.
Thanks.
I'll grab Derek.
Okay, stand by. I got to transition to go downstairs for Jake.
Let's go.
Okay, am I good on our new location? Everybody can hear me okay? Wi-Fi is usually good in here. You guys are good? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll turn it over. Questions for Jake? I'll step out, Jake.
Cool.
Hey Jake, good afternoon. Obviously you guys maybe haven't shot it as well in the last couple of games, and teams are starting to single cover Kofi more. What's the importance of, you, Trent, Plummer, DeMonte, Coleman, etc., being able to knock down 3-point shots?
You got to be ready to receive the ball and put up a good shot. But I think more importantly is defense. Old saying, you win games playing offense, but you win championships playing defense. We're all good shooters, and sometimes Curry has a 0 for 9 game, and then the next night he sets a record. So for us, just trusting the work we put in offensively, but more importantly, just playing Illinois defense and getting wins after win.
Thanks, Jake.
Hi, Jake. Brad mentioned that he liked the effort, or how hard you were playing as a team, but yet felt emotionally flat. That was a game against Michigan that at least had some outside chatter around it, and I wonder if how you might feel emotionally coming into an early morning game against Purdue, but yet there were a lot of people that thought, at least coming in, that the Big Ten championship would go through West Lafayette this year.
So what is your question?
I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good job of asking that. Brad indicated that maybe there was a little bit of emotional flatness against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
This is another big game, and maybe even higher stakes when it comes to the Big Ten championship, and it's on a Monday morning. How do you get ready for that?
It starts with preparation. We were a little emotionally flat, I guess you could say, compared to Michigan. But that game's over, so not dwelling on that at all. This is the highest ranked team in the Big Ten right now that we got on or tomorrow. Got to bring it. Got to do anything it takes to get a win. I'm not too worried about the last game coming into this game.
And obviously there's to be the battle of the bigs. There's Ivy, there's Trent Frazier. I'm wondering if this game is actually ends up winning, being won between the Grandisons and the Stevanoviches, and how those kinds of battles and those players play out in this game.
You don't know who's going to have a good game. I hope it's all of us. Just got to be locked in on scout reports, guarding your man, and execute on offenses. It might be not a great answer to that, but it's just kind of straightforward to me, if you know what I mean.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Jake, a year ago today, actually, you guys lost to Ohio State at home. And since that point, you're 20-1 against Big Ten conference teams. I guess, what is the key to putting such a strong stretch of Big Ten play together like this?
So you want the secret sauce? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that's a tough question. There's so many little things that go into that. You know, if you look at those 20 games, there's probably a couple that were, you know, down to the last second, 50-50. One play made the difference. So I'm glad that is our record as of a year ago. But can't get complacent on it. It just got to keep doing what we're doing in practice, in the gym. Stay locked in, be coachable, listen, good positive energy, and just hope.
How well do you remember that game? Like, is there anything that stands out about the couple days after that may have ignited a flip here?
You know, time is kind of like a blur nowadays. I don't really remember too much to answer that question well. Yeah, no, I don't know. We just hooping right now. That's the quote.
All right, thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Jake. I know the Purdue's big three guys are getting a lot of national attention in the college game, but also, you know, from pro scouts and such. Is there any extra motivation to sort of show that you guys are on that same level when you're playing against people who are getting that much attention?
You saying personally or as a team or both?
Both. You can both.
Well, personally, I have never been ranked in high school. Had no stars, no offers, none of that. So I don't good for them. They are good players, as Big Ten pros. But that don't mean nothing to me at all. And I think our team is the same way, because I feel like that we're better than other people want to admit sometimes. So I would say it's a natural chip on everyone's shoulder on this team. But yeah, that's more so for fans to feed off. We're in the trenches, getting to it. We don't care who it is.
Awesome, thanks.
Hey, Jake, I know the thing to say is every game is the same, but when you have a top 10 opponent fighting for a Big Ten title, what does this game mean to you guys inside that locker room to prove to yourselves, I guess, more than anything?
You kind of answered it. I think it's just another opportunity for us to again prove that we're a national championship caliber team. Another chance to prove who got the best big in the league. It's another chance to prove who's the top dog. I've heard that these are the two teams that people think are going to be in the Big Ten championship. So once again, it's another opportunity to just tell somebody again what the deal is.
And your guys' defensive numbers, Jake, have really improved, especially during conference play. I think you're number one in defensive efficiency right now. What do you think has led to that improvement as the season has gone along? And what do you think this game can show, given that they're the number one offense in the country?
Got a lot of veteran players, got a veteran coach, a coach who's never satisfied with being second or third. You know, always pushing us every day. We start film sessions and we we see our defensive accountability individually for the last game and as a team. And if a number slips, he hammers it home. We lock in on it in practice, and just chipping away, chopping wood.
Thanks, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake, kind of a weird question, but with the early start tomorrow, I'm just wondering, like, what time do you guys plan to go to sleep and wake up?
Going to bed early, 8, 9 for going to bed. And we got early morning shoot around. So I'll wake up like 5:30.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake, I just have a quick follow-up. I mean, in a sport that's got so many like numbers and all this stuff to evaluate things, is it as simple to do this really as just hooping, right? Like, I mean, does it really boil down to something as kind of easy as that? Not easy, but you know what I mean? Like not overly complicated.
Well, I mean, to put it like this, everyone's goal, for instance, on both Purdue and our team, everyone's goal is to play professional basketball. And we've been doing this for years and years and years. And like someone said earlier, all these games are kind of the same in the terms that they come down to the same things: guarding actions, executing, rebounding the basketball, being in shape, listening to your coach, and being able to follow a game plan. So when I say hooping, that we're hooping, I mean it in a way that we're not worried or preoccupied about certain things, because in a way it'll figure itself out if you do the right things. You know what I mean? So just playing hard, all those type of, there's just certain things you got to do, and you got to do it.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, does the MLK holiday have the same resonance for your generation as maybe it does to your grandparents?
Very important holiday, but I would say it's my grandparents. It means more to my grandparents, probably given the generational time gap, but still means something to me.